Hello and welcome to this session. In today's session, you will learn about the financial landscape. In this session, you will learn about basics of financial system, evolution of financial system, objectives and role of financial system, structure and components of financial system. So let's get started. But first, think back to your childhood or your college days when money was scarce but you still needed new things. What did you do? You simply found something valuable in your possession that you didn't want anymore. You then found a friend who was interested in your item and likewise had some items to exchange of their own. This is nothing new. The barter system has been in practice for ages, even before the advent of money. So, what are the key components in this system? Here you have a buyer and a seller. Items that are in demand that can be traded, and you have some unspoken rules around the system. For instance, it is assumed that the items traded are roughly of the same monetary or perceived value. You are not going to trade your BMW car for a bicycle, no matter how close your friendship is, right? The barter system is an example of a financial system. Although the financial systems of today are a lot more complex. China was the first country to use recognizable coins. Interestingly, by 1100 BC, China moved from using actual tools and weapons as a medium of exchange to using miniature replicas of the same tools cast in bronze. But nobody wants to reach into their pockets and impale their hand on a sharp arrow. So, over time, these tiny daggers, spades, and hoes were abandoned for the less prickly shape of a circle, which became some of the first coins. Although China was the first country to use recognizable coins, the first minted coins were created not too far away in Lydia, now Western Turkey, by King Elias in 1600 BC. Paper bills were first used by the Chinese, who started carrying folding money during the Tang dynasty around the year 618 to 907. This shows that the currency was introduced ages back. With this, we end this session on origin of money, and now we shall move on to different aspects of financial systems. You have now learned about the evolution or history of the financial system, which now brings us to the present day. So, what is a financial system? In simple words, it is an organized and regulated structure where exchange of funds takes place between the lenders and borrowers. So, what are the key components of a financial system? Let's find out. A financial system is a system which brings together financial participants in the financial market with the available products and services offered. We will learn about each of these components in greater detail in the coming modules. Participants include investment banks, retail banks, mutual and hedge funds, government, stock exchanges, depositories, retail investors, insurance and pension funds, registrars, clearing houses, brokers, and custodians. Each of these participants play a pivotal and active role in the financial market. A market where investors and borrowers can trade in financial securities, commodities, and other fungible items at low transaction costs and at prices that reflect the demand and supply. Products include debt and equity instruments such as derivatives, shares, bonds, foreign exchange, and so on. Services are to corporate investors and also to individuals and includes mergers and acquisitions, financial research and advice, underwriting, sales and trading, market making, asset management, and specialized or customized financial solutions. The primary goal of a financial system is the accelerated growth of an economy. In order to achieve that primary role, financial system to accelerate growth in the economy, it needs to mobilize the savings which are then invested in desired products. Once these two objectives are met, overall economic development is possible, which then leads to national. Once these two objectives are met, overall economic development is possible, which then leads to national growth. Let's look at each of these objectives in more detail. As you can see, saving mobilization requires obtaining funds from the holder and then redirecting them to the one who needs those funds, that is the issuer. The issuer can be either private party like corporates or a public agency run by the government. Financial system ensures the surplus funds are then invested in the desired market such as capital market, commodity market, etc. and products such as equity, debt, money market, derivatives, etc. Financial system ensures continuous flow of surplus funds to deficit units. Based on demand and supply of the products offered, financial system should be able to cater to the overall economic development. Like any market, the price of securities is subject to the demand and supply logic and other social and political factors. As market forces determine the price of the securities, it is must for the financial markets to have transparent pricing. regulations, costs and fees, and allows seamless and transparent flow of information. Investors in these markets have access to a variety of financial products through different exchanges. The broad functions of a financial system are: 1. To facilitate constant flow of funds, which are regularly monitored and regulated. 2. To play the role of intermediaries and thus determine the flow of funds, and to monitor and regulate the participants in the financial system. Investments could be either in stocks, bonds, or even short-term fixed securities market, while the firms, government agencies, or banking sector could be either investors or borrowers or both. Now that we know more about the role and functions of the financial system, we need to know how this system operates. Now, there can be indirect financing, where the lenders can transfer funds to intermediaries like banks, pension funds, mutual funds, insurance funds, etc. Or there can be direct financing, where the investors directly finance the borrowers by directly investing in their various products. Let's now look at the structure of the financial system. Each of the body of this structure is crucial for the functioning of a financial system. We have financial market providing a place for financial transactions. We have matured and developed financial instruments catering to the needs of both investors and borrowers. Financial participants provide the required infrastructure and make the system more robust. Financial regulators are the watchdogs, ensuring no fraudulent activities are undertaken. Services could be either pre-transaction or post-transactions. These services are enhanced to meet modern-day risk craving. Let's now look at the structure of financial markets. Broadly, financial markets are of four types: capital markets, money markets, foreign exchange markets, and derivatives markets. Capital markets are further subdivided into primary and secondary markets. In both these markets, we have debt and equity markets. We would learn each of these markets in detail in consecutive sessions. While in money market, we have treasury bills, certificate of deposit, call money, and commercial paper. All this will be discussed in greater detail in subsequent modules. In a financial system, there is a wide range of financial products that are offered. These include stocks, that is equity, preference, and common shares; bonds, which are short term and long term; foreign exchange, derivatives, money market instruments, and commodities. Each of these instruments will be explained in greater detail in later sessions. So, who are the key players in a financial system? Participants include Issuers, investors, brokers and dealers, depositories, custodians, registrars, lead managers, and depository participants. These participants play a pivotal and active role in the financial market. Again, we will learn about each of these participants later on in the course. The financial system is incomplete without market regulators, which are also called market watchdogs. Each country has its own regulatory body or bodies. For instance, in India, you have Reserve Bank of India, which is an apex bank, and Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, to regulate markets. In the US, we have Federal Reserve and Pension Company and Securities Exchange Commission, which is also called SEC. In the UK, it is Bank of England and the Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA, along with Prudential Regulatory Authority. Finally, we come to financial services. Financial services include mergers and acquisitions, financial research and advice, underwriting, sales and trading, market making, asset management, and specialized or customized financial solutions. Generally, these services are limited to corporate investors, but some of these can also be extended to retail investors. We will cover each of these components in further detail as we proceed in this program. That's it for now. Thank you.